everyone, Diana here, and welcome to my series, Hormonal Balances for Simple Weight Loss. Today's video is going to be covering the hormone cortisol. Many of you may have heard of this. This is known as the stress hormone. Cortisol controls energy levels during stress, which then will cause the body to break down proteins and release glucose into the bloodstream. Another cause for high levels of cortisol is intense exercise. Another cause for high levels of cortisol is intense exercise. And as the exercise session continues, the cortisol levels will continue to rise. Now, short spikes in these hormones are actually necessary. The problem comes in when our cortisol levels are high for long periods of time. Some of the things that will cause that would be like overtraining or a long, stressful work week. Also, anxiety, depression, PTSD, exhaustion, and digestive problems too will also cause your cortisol levels to go high and remain high. Now, this high level of cortisol will cause your muscle tissue to break down and burn for energy, which decreases your metabolic rate. Your metabolism just drops. These high levels of cortisol will also cause decreased libido, bone density. It contributes to depression and poor memory. And cortisol will also increase your appetite and cause cravings for sweet and fatty foods. Now, a lot of studies have shown that high levels of cortisol will actually increase your abdominal fat. So right around the abdominal area, that's where it'll store most of the fat. And worse, the more abdominal fat you have, the more cortisol you release during periods of stress, which then causes more abdominal fat. So this too is another one of those vicious cycles that ends up happening in our bodies once we have a situation that causes our cortisol to be high for a long period of time. So many people have an issue with this hormone. Okay, so what to do to put this in check? At the top of our list is sleep. You have to sleep good. And what we're looking at here is between 7 to 9 hours of good, restful sleep every night. Even just a mild sleep deprivation can significantly increase your levels of cortisol and store body fat. So think about it like this. A lack of sleep will cause you to gain weight and get fatter, but good sleep will cause you to lose the weight. And it's not just true of this hormone. If you've seen my other videos, you'll know that there's a number of hormones that once you get them balanced through sleep, you can just start watching your weight fall off. There's a lot of hormones that will go out of balance because of poor sleep. So good proper sleep is very, very important. And we've discussed this before in other videos. You want to pitch black and dead silent. And I know, a lot of people have to sleep with the television on and stuff like that, but set your timer to go off shortly after you anticipate you're going to fall asleep. So that way there you can spend the night sleeping in the dead silence and in the pitch black. So here is something interesting. The researchers at Stanford School of Medicine found that sleeping only 5 hours a night will increase your BMI no matter what your diet or exercise habits are. So there are some hormones that will help you to lose weight just simply by getting your sleep regulated. But for cortisol, this is definitely, like I said, number one on the list. It's the most important thing that you want to do to get those cortisol levels under control. It is during your sleep, your resting time, that your body processes this hormone. Another thing you want to do is reduce the stress from blood sugar imbalances, and you do this by consuming a high-protein breakfast within an hour of waking up. Now, I'm not that person that can eat as soon as I wake up. There's a lot of people that can't, and I'm not too very hungry even an hour later. But a couple of hands of peanuts, just something, get the protein in your body within an hour of waking up, and this should help. So now, while I said that intense exercise can increase your level of cortisol, you can also use exercise to get that cortisol back into balance as well. Running, strength training, and other forms of exercise, as long as it is done in moderation. And you want this both for frequency and intensity. Too many hard sessions in a row, that can lead to chronically high levels of cortisol. You don't want that. Especially if you're working your butt off to have a nice looking body, and that working your butt off is causing your body to just get bigger or stay bigger. So like one of the things that you can do to help to decrease your cortisol would be to go for a leisure walk for 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day, or march in place while you're watching your favorite YouTubers. Another thing that's been shown to help with cortisol levels is meditation. And this is simple. I've seen a lot of meditations out there. Some will last for an hour and some are like 10 to 15 minutes. You want to be able to get yourself into that state of that meditative state. So my suggestion is you start out with those longer ones. Even if you fall asleep, don't worry about it. Practice the meditation, 1 hour long meditation until you can get to the point where you can get through that meditation without falling asleep. I fell asleep for like 4 days in a row. But then once you get to that point, then you're able to go into a meditative state, and then you start doing the shorter ones and the shorter ones. So then I got to the point where I can do like 8 to 10 minute meditation sessions because I could go into a meditative state really quickly because I've practiced. So it'd probably take you maybe like a week or two. It's not long term for doing the longer ones. And you really should be taking that time out for yourself anyways, and that helps to decrease your cortisol levels as well because it helps to decrease your stress when you're doing something for you. Another thing you can do is to surround yourself with positive people, happy people. You want to be around people who make you laugh. This is one way to seriously decrease your cortisol levels, at least in that moment. And it has been shown that simply anticipating a laugh can help to decrease your cortisol levels. So surround yourself with, positive, happy people. So now I'm going to go into the bad. I hate to say cut things out or even to cut things down. However, if cortisol is a chronic issue for you, you might want to consider cutting these things back, at least maybe for a week or two until you can get your cortisol levels under control. You got your sleep going good. So it's decrease coffee, particularly during times of stress. And I know that during times of stress is when we really want more coffee, but try and replace it with something else. Because when you mix coffee together with stress, your cortisol levels jump much higher than they would if you didn't have the coffee. So during like high stress times, try and stay away from the coffee. Decrease the coffee, like I said, just for a week or two until you have things like exercise, sleep, these kind of things, getting your cortisol under control. Once your cortisol is right there under control, you can go back to drinking the coffee that you've been drinking before. So that's the video on cortisol, the stress hormone, and how it can help you to lose weight when you balance that out. Because weight loss should never ever be difficult. And it's not if you do it right. The right way to lose weight is to target the problems on the inside. Because once you get everything on the inside working right, the excess weight will fall off. Like this cortisol. If this cortisol is a problem for you, once you get that problem balanced out, that cortisol balanced out in your body, your weight will fall off. You won't have to work for it. And we should, and that is like the exciting thing for me, is we don't have to work for a thin body. My body is a wonderful size. I'm not too big, and at this point I'm not too small. And I don't work my butt off for it. When I was working for the smaller weight, for the right size weight, I wasn't getting anywhere. And it was a lot of work. And it was very stressful, which was probably causing more cortisol. When I stopped targeting the body fat and started targeting the issues on the inside of my body, that weight just fell off. And it'll work the same thing for you because I've seen it work like that with so many of my clients. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm going to say if you haven't seen any of my other videos, please do so. I've got a series, 14 hormones that cause excess weight, overweight, and obesity. And when we get those balanced right, you will start losing weight easier than you ever did before. So if you haven't seen the other videos, please check them out. Click subscribe. I've got more to come. This is video number 8. So there's going to be, 5, 6 more to be coming. And you don't want to miss those, so make sure that you click subscribe. If you know somebody who's struggling with their weight and tends to be a stressor, share this video with them. Click share it with whoever, and there's actually a lot of people who have an issue with cortisol. If you have any comments or questions, please pop them in the space below. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions, and I'll see you next time.